All right, so today I'm doing a review on TMC, the flatbed company out of Des Moines, Iowa. And so I had two companies basically I could choose from. The two that I kind of narrowed it down to were Jordan Carriers. They were the first company that offered me, and then it was TMC. I chose TMC over Jordan Carriers primarily for one reason. Is because uh, the week I was going to get my CDL. If I passed my test, they had already guaranteed me a spot in their orientation, which was the following Monday. Jordan, even though they offered me first, they didn't have anything open until the middle of September. So I didn't want to wait a month and a half, considering that I was basically living off some of my retirement money. So like I said, TMC offered me um, before I got my CDL license, and then I reported that Monday. If you don't know, TMC orientation is 2 weeks long. The Monday you're focusing on securement, and then the next week, Monday through Friday, okay, you're working on driving and angle backing. Um, so the best, but it was good enough to get you started. So after that second week of orientation, they match you up with a trainer. I had a trainer out of Fayetteville, North Carolina. Um, this guy was the best match for me. Uh, I was older than him. I think he was like 24 years old, but cool, laid back, never really pressured me, but taught me everything I needed to know. And I asked a lot of questions, particularly when it came to backing and other stuff, just to make sure that I had the gist of it. Because, um, man, we repped backing and understanding how to move the truck. I remember one week we were in Georgia at a Lowe's, and he set up like a little circuit for me, like a circular circuit, and he just had me backing up around it, and we basically backed up until the truck ran hot, or I think it said clutch abuse, and I had like skin peeling. But like I said, he did that all for me. So my 4 weeks were good. I had somebody to talk to. The experience was good. I learned a lot. He taught me how to strap. And when I left him, I feel like I had a good gist of it. So after the fourth week, so I think my first week, excuse me, my first week with my training was around the beginning of September, and then I was basically finished by the end of September. Was where I ended my 4 weeks, and then the beginning of October, I think it was October 4th, where I was supposed to come in and test. Okay, come in and test. I thought I was gonna get my truck the same day, no later than the next day, or have my first load no later than that Tuesday. So after testing, of course, I passed, and the truck wasn't ready. As a matter of fact, I think out of like 10, 12 people that tested, I think only two of the trucks were ready. And I think there was one guy that was with us that had to wait a whole week because his truck wasn't ready from the previous week. Okay, so I don't think my truck was ready till that Wednesday. Of course, I had to take it back to the shop after I test drove it because it was out of alignment. There was a rattle on the side steps on the passenger side. So after they got that squared away, I didn't do anything with the truck until Thursday. I did my first load on Thursday. I went and I came back, and on that Friday, I never forget, I got hit by a car. A car ran a red light. Um, so it was a weird way to kind of a slow way to start off my week. And when I got hit by the car, um, wasn't any major damage, just some damage to the rim. So of course I put it in the shop, and I had to deliver to Ohio on not early, by Monday around about 2 p.m. So I got my truck kind of late on Sunday. I left out on Sunday, and basically missed my first delivery. All right. Now, keynote for that, my first and last time leaving out on Sunday was my first week. After that first Sunday, I always left out on Monday. Only reason is, like I said, I like being home. And I knew I was going to be away from home, and I didn't like the fact that I would technically park up on a Sunday, which I know they want us to do. So when we get unloaded on the Monday, we have all our hours. But basically, depending on what time you get home on a Friday, you don't have your 48 hours. I know you only need 34, but you don't really have 2 days to rest to get ready for the next week. So my experience driving on my own, it was cool. It was cool at first. I was learning. I think when I was with my trainer, I liked the driving part, probably more so because I just caught on to that faster than the backing and securing. And then when I was by myself, I started to notice that I preferred the securing over the driving, which I didn't mind driving, but like I said, it was just getting used to driving by myself and driving so many hours. All right, so let's make sure. I want to make sure. All right, so some things that started to happen. I started to have some unfortunate things happen. My truck broke down like my second or third week. In Ringo, Georgia. I was on my way to Alpharetta, Georgia, and broke down. Something with the ABS light came on, wouldn't move. So I got towed to Ringo, Georgia, and back and forth in a hotel. I was like 5 hours away from home. This is where I started to get a little bit agitated with TMC. I actually asked for a rental just to get home. I told them, I basically talking to the people at the shop. The first thing they told me it was going to be like a week before they get to the truck. So when they told me that, and I was thinking, hey, well, I drive home. I'll come back whenever y'all get finished with the truck, and we'll be good. But my fleet manager, excuse me, kept giving me the runaround. He kept saying I would talk to the people. They would tell me one thing. I'd let him know, and he'd make it seem as if, well, they probably wasn't telling you the truth. You know, we're going to talk to them. And then when they would send me the update, it would be the exact same thing that they told me. And I would tell him this several times, like, hey, you keep giving me the runaround like I'm not talking to these people. I thought they were being truthful. They were very truthful. And it was going to be over a week before I got my truck. So I finally got to go home on like a Thursday. I was put on a wait list for, I guess, to get another truck. And as soon as I got home that next morning, I drove to Jacksonville, Florida to get another truck, which was an older truck, but it was, like I said, in a shop. And it drove fine for a little while. That one broke down too, as all trucks do. But it pretty much drove fine. Now, some of my issues that I had, I'll tell you, me and my fleet manager got into a little dispute. I just delivered a load in Tennessee, and there was another truck who broke down somewhere close to Knoxville, Tennessee, and he sent me the load. He had everything on there except for the amount of money it was going to make. So, of course, they had the number of the guy. So I call him up, and I asked him, hey, how much are they paying for the load? He gives me the number. I was like, okay, because they didn't say anything. And I told them I would ask to see how much they were going to tell me. But I didn't. And the only reason why I didn't, because it was going to Wisconsin. So it was going from Tennessee to Wisconsin, about a 13-hour drive. And it was going to snow. And I was kind of nervous, being my first couple weeks in the truck, that it was going to be snowing. And I was going to be have to drive at night to make it to the destination on time. And once I saw that it was going to be a struggle, I told my fleet manager, hey, it's going to snow. I don't want that load. So we had a back and forth. He was telling me, well, I was going to take the load, and I was like, nah, I'm not taking that load. It's not forced freight, and I don't have to take it, be honest with you. I said, I understand that's how the company works. He was telling me, yeah, that's how they make their money. But I was like, well, you can find somebody that wants to take that load. I'm pretty sure somebody else will take that load for the amount that they were trying to pay. So that's one of the times. Another con that I would say, and that's not really a big con. I just think you have to stand up for yourself. Um, Another con was the 20-hour work days. And this started happening around uh, the end of November, December. Basically, they'd like you to be at the shipper, excuse me, the consignee in the morning, first thing in the morning. So say they open up at 6, I get up at 5:30, unstrap, ready to unload. I send in my empty. So what happens is if there are no loads, or I guess if there's a waiting list, as I found out from the little Facebook group, you wait. So I think the first time that I kind of waited about 4 or 5 hours, uh, you get your load. And because of that wait time, of course, you still have your 14 hours or whatnot or something like that. I would end up being up from like 5:30, 6 in the morning, and I would drive basically until I got to the consignee, my next consignee, and sometimes that would end around 3:30 in the morning. And after my second time of doing that, I was not interested in doing that anymore. It just didn't seem like I was being paid enough to have that type of work day. Remember, TMC is a percentage company. They start you out with 26%, and you can move up as high as 34%. I always compared the 26% to the 32% because that's what my trainer had. So I would do when I was training when I was with my trainer, I would do the 26%. I would do the 32%. I believe Jordan started out around about 57 cents per mile. So I always do that and just compare them, just to try to understand better which one is making more on certain loads. And I started to see, hey, you had some good loads, TMC. You had some okay loads. You had some very average loads. You had some bad loads. Um, so, but getting back to the point of the 20-hour workday. So after I did that a couple times, I didn't want to do that anymore. So this is where, like I said, I started to understand the ins and outs of the company. When I first started strapping, of course, I was always in a split law because I would take forever. It'd take me 3 or 4 hours, and that's just a part of it. Um, but after I got it down, it seemed like I still never could get 5 loads in a week. There was always be something that would happen on my full weeks because, like I said, they were like 3 4 weeks. Something happened with the truck. Um, I guess just a part of the job. Okay. So let's just review the pros. If you're looking to get on with TMC, some people get on. I guess you got to have some previous work experience or something like that. Uh, they have very heavy emphasis on securement, which is a good thing. Once again, it never hurts to understand how to properly secure your loads. You're gonna be comfortable with an X strap. If you don't know what that is, trust me, you'll find that out. Um, and you'll get a very good mixture of loads as well. Lumber, I think I had electrical cords, plywood, coils. I mean, it's just a whole lot that you're gonna learn. All right. Once again, if you're around Columbia, South Carolina, whatever, I mean, 2 weeks training, solid equipment. Definitely nothing wrong with the equipment. I could go by securement anytime, and get or replace some of the equipment that I had if I wasn't happy with it. Cons, like I said, the wait time. Apparently, that's how it goes in the trucking industry. I didn't know that. I was new. I'm not what you call I say a master trucker. I wasn't getting into this industry to say, or to, not say start my own business, but to be in this business for a long time. I only had like a 5 year plan, 2 to 5 year plan, actually. I didn't see myself doing it as a company driver more than 2 years, or driving for more than 5 years. Once I got in, I started to realize, okay, I probably won't even be in it this long. But hey, if it helps me pay off some of my bills, I would do it for a period of time. Um, but yeah, the wait time during the winter at TMC, this may be the same for other companies, but you're gonna wait. You're gonna wait. You might as well get ready for it. You're gonna wait 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 hours. There was one time, the day before Thanksgiving, I was in Mount Airy, North Carolina. I was about 3.5 hours away from home. And after I unloaded, I went to a pilot to kind of sit, and I just kept sitting, kept sitting. And I told my fleet manager, hey, can I go home? Like, I can go home empty and y'all can have me something ready on that Monday. Of course, they didn't want to. I understand why. They don't want you to waste gas. But I ended up waiting like 2 more hours after I asked that. And of course, they sent us home empty. And then that happened again on December 16th, which is my birthday. I was in Raleigh, North Carolina. Same thing. I wanted to go home. I tell them, hey, send me home empty. Uh, I can pick up something Monday morning. Of course, they want me to sit. Same thing. Send me home empty. And it was on that day, was when I started like really considering, okay, I think I'm gonna leave. I don't really like to sit. And I know people will say, well, you can do other stuff, you can take a nap. I'm a busybody. So during that time that I'm just sitting there, I feel very unproductive. So I hated every bit of that. So yeah, on the next day, December 17th, I wrote my resignation. Another con, um, just personal to me. I don't think all the fleet managers are bad, especially listening to the Black and Chrome Facebook group that you can become a part of. Um, I felt like my fleet manager would try to keep me out the loop. He wouldn't respond sometimes to my questions, which was fine. But I think that was just personal to my fleet manager. He wasn't a bad fleet manager or anything like that. I just think he just tried to keep me out the loop, or made it seem as if I didn't know anything, or he didn't know anything. Um, Another kind, I think this is primarily my fault. Some people say, well, you never left on a Sunday, but I never could get the 5 loads. I got the 4, but I could never get 5 to basically realize how much money I could make. I think my highest earning week was almost $1,400, um, and that was probably with 4 loads. But like I said, there were a couple weeks where I had two and 3 loads because something happened with the truck. Just unfortunate. The pay, I was getting 27%, and the pay just wasn't enough for me to be away from home. Not spending all week away from home to be making less than $1,000. And that's pretty much all it boils down to. I made a certain amount with teaching. So like I said, when I left teaching, I had a goal of if I could bring home $1,200, $1,300 after taxes, I probably been fine within my living means and being able to pay off my bills. Once I did my calculation on December 16th, my second to last week, I saw that I was making or averaging less than $800 in a week. I'm not saying that's the norm for everybody else, because I've seen other people post their paychecks in the Facebook group and they were making some good money. But just my personal experience, I just wasn't making the type of money that I felt necessary to stay out on the road. Keep in mind, like I said, I know that I like to be at home. If you're considering being on the road, you're gonna have to be out on the road for a period of time just to get started in the industry, get you some experience. I drove 4 months total, 3 months by myself. I got like 25,000 miles. Haven't hit anything like that. So, but if you don't like being out on the road, this may not be the occupation for you, to be honest. There was one thing that I remember during orientation that the man said, and this was so true. He said, "Hey, if you're having issues at home, trucking is not the industry for you." And I didn't say I learned that the hard way, but he was telling the absolute truth. So when things happen at home and you're not there, oh man, that used to kill me. So yeah, that was another reason why I kind of got out as well. Oh, and the last con, which is simple. You may not have any issues with this. Just washing the truck every 2 weeks. Just trying to find time without you getting stopped or routed to a truck wash. But pretty much, all in all, my conclusion for me, over the road just wasn't for me. If I could find something local, I probably would do that. But I probably would never go back on the road again just because of my experience. And like I said, everybody has a personal experience. I wouldn't tell you that TMC is not a good place to be at. You're going to just have to get through the winter. Maybe I came on at the wrong time. You're going to be waiting during the winter a lot. But I hear it's faster during the rest of the year, and you'll probably make some good money. But just get prepared for the winter. It'll slow down a lot. I'll say percentage pay can be good. Especially if you can get up to the 32%. As I would do my calculations, I believe 32%, you make some pretty good money. But like I said, I never got past the 27%. And I believe it can go up or down depending on your rolling average of the last 13 weeks. I would say, hey, if there's a load that you don't want to do, this is me personally, don't make them force you into a situation where you get stuck or you're just uncomfortable or you're just not ready for. Another conclusion, I really started to enjoy the securing, trying to come up with my own system, become as efficient as possible. But I just didn't love all the driving, especially, like I said, with those 20-hour days. And just like I said, that I just didn't appreciate that. Be mindful. I was with them once again, 3 months by myself. I didn't hear anything about this at orientation at TMC, but they took $650 out my last check, and it was some fee. I had to go look that up to try to find it. I didn't even ask. I was just so ready to leave. It didn't even matter to me. Until you get the hang of it, you're not gonna make the money that you want to make. Okay, I grew. I got way more efficient over the first 2 months, 3 months. But just know that it's gonna take a while for you to really get the hang of it and master it and make the money that you want. At the beginning of your first 1-2 weeks, you're gonna have a guy who's calling you, checking on you. I didn't realize that he was like one of the top guys in the company, but he would call and check on you. And he also would tell me that I was having a lot of abnormal stuff. Just a rough time getting acclimated, like problems with the truck and things like that. And so that all in all, three months, okay experience. If I don't regret going to TMC, but I wouldn't go back. I wouldn't. But like I said, don't just look at this video if you're considering TMC. I've seen a lot of good experiences from people with TMC, especially people who want to be out on the road, don't mind being out on the road. I have 2 girls, a wife, so it wasn't the best option for me, and I realized that quickly, but it may be the right option for you. So I hope you got some good information out this video, and choose wisely. There are a lot of good companies. Make sure you do your research. Find out the best company for you. Talk to people. Look at these videos and make the best decision.